Hello, my name's Chris Collier. I'm the Director of On-Site Programs and Exhibits here at the Vermont Institute of Natural Science. We run a nature center here in Quechee, Vermont. We're a private, non-profit organization, and our mission is to motivate individuals and communities to care for the environment. We do that through research, through education, and through avian wildlife rehabilitation. And today, I'm excited to bring you out on the new Forest Canopy Walk. Follow me. So here at the Vins Nature Center, we have 47 acres. 40 of it is in forest, and 7 is in buildings and open land and our meadow. And when we created this Forest Canopy Walk, we wanted to get people up into the trees, eye to eye with squirrels and robins and all sorts of other creatures. So we have here a mixed deciduous forest. There are all kinds of different species of tree. You can see there's a pine right over here, a dead birch right here, an American beech behind me as well. There's a great diversity of trees in this area, and we wove the canopy walk through those trees. So as we go through this tour, you'll see that the canopy walk moves through all of the trees, winding its way in a giant circle. The whole walk itself is about 900 feet in linear feet, and at the top of what we call the treehouse, you are 100 feet off the forest floor. Quite a view from up there. All right, and now let's move on to our next stop. So one of the great aspects that we have here at Vins, being in the forest, is that our land slopes down to the backwater of the Ottaquechee River, which is the same river that goes through the gorge. And over that way is the dam that blocks the water and forms a backwater and a wetland that we abut. And one of the reasons we chose this site for the Forest Canopy Walk is because it slopes, and that allowed us to just basically go straight out with our walkway, which keeps it ADA accessible, which is wonderful. So if you use a wheelchair or any mobility device, if you're a parent with a stroller, you can get right out here on the walkway. There's only one elevation gain, and it's very minimal. One of the things that we did in order to build this, we minimized the amount of trees that we had to cut, because why build a forest canopy walk without a forest canopy? So we did have to take some trees out, but we tried to maintain as much diversity and as many trees as possible in this whole area. We came in the winter of 2018 when we started, in November of 2018, and we started to set poles. So these are utility poles. They get upwards of 65 feet in length, and those poles were set the winter of 2018 and 2019. In total, there are 102 poles that help support this whole Forest Canopy Walk. And our next stop, you'll get to see the spider web. So right here we have our giant spider web. It's about 20 feet in diameter from one side to the other, and right now I'm suspended 43 feet above the forest floor. So looking down through the webbing and the cargo net, I have nothing but air until you get down to the forest floor. Some people don't like it, some people absolutely love it. Most kids get an absolute thrill out of it, and my kids just the other day were out here with me playing spider and fly, trying to catch each other, playing in this giant web. This net is made of polyethylene. It's a kind of a magical substance in a way, and basically one strand of this rope, this white rope, can hold 27,000 pounds, which is essentially the equivalent of 2 African bull elephants. So if we had a couple elephants here, we could put them into the net, no problem, it would hold them just fine. The other thing we have over here is our owl's nest, and you can see atop the pole in the owl's nest we have a giant great horned owl sculpture, which we'll talk a little bit more about some of the artists that we worked with for this project, but that owl sculpture is made by Wendy Klimperer. Our next stop will be talking about the artwork that was created for the Forest Canopy Walk. So we worked with a couple artists to create sculptures for the Forest Canopy Walk. One of them, a fellow named Herb Ferris, is right here outside of Windsor, Vermont, and the other is a woman named Wendy Klimperer, and she's out of Brooklyn, New York, and also has a place in New Hampshire. Now, Herb created the big entry, what we call passage, and it's the huge pieces of wood at the beginning made out of white cedar. And that was meant to basically take people from the ordinary onto or into the extraordinary. Wendy works with metal, recycled metal, and we had her create these two eagles, one of which is in the nest and another is flying in with a fish for its mate. The other that we already met was the great horned owl, and Wendy created that one as well. So when you're out here on the Forest Canopy Walk, there are lots of pieces of art to also interact with and look at and marvel at. All right, our next stop is going to be the Founders Platform. So we're now here at the Founders Platform, named after the 4 founding members of VINS. Now, the organization, the Vermont Institute of Natural Science, has been around since 1972, and we were formed by those 4 members of the public in order to clean up the Ottaquechee River. They were able to do that and enact legislation to stop polluting of that river, and since then VINS has morphed into a very different organization, but one that still has its roots in conservation and protection of our land. One of the amazing things right here is that we have the river that we're looking at right here. And that, to me, is a beautiful thing. We've owned this property here in Quechee since 2004, and a lot of people will walk down to the river, but now with the Forest Canopy Walk, so many more people come and interact with this river. And one of the beautiful aspects, natural history-wise, of this spot is that we are at what's called an ecotone. And an ecotone is basically where 2 habitats come together, and you have a lot of diversity in one habitat and a lot of diversity in the other, and where they intermingle, you have an even greater diversity. So there are all kinds of waterfowl that we see here right on the wetland. We have mink and otter, beaver, we have coyotes and foxes and deer and all sorts of creatures that call this place their home. This platform is also just a wonderful spot to sit, listen to the birds, and look out on the beauty of the Ottaquechee River. Next up, we'll go to the top of the treehouse. So we're almost at the very top of the treehouse, and if you look out, we can see a little bit of the river, the Ottaquechee River, and then beyond that is what's called Dewey's Pond. And having both of these waterways, along with the blooming red maples and all the other trees that are about to burst with color and leaves, it's a wonderful spot to sit here and look out over this whole area. In fact, we've seen all kinds of waterfowl like geese and ducks, mergansers. We had a bald eagle fly in and land on one of the trees right here off the Canopy Walk. And today, for the first time that I've seen this year, we have tree swallows back. And they are just on the wing catching insects, flying around in a beautiful fashion. So this area looking out here, we have a wonderful landscape. Most of the land that you see behind this is the Quechee Lakes Association land, so it's not likely to be developed in any major way, and that makes for a great viewscape for the Forest Canopy Walk. So this is one of the interpretive panels that we have that go throughout the Forest Canopy Walk. We worked with a designer out of Shelburne, Vermont named Maya, who helped basically take what we wanted and put it into a graphically beautiful display. The big interpretive panels basically go over larger concepts about forest ecology and why we as humans should help conserve forested landscapes. We also have smaller interpretive panels that are more species specific, and then we also have interactives that you will be able to move things, touch things, manipulate, and some of those will be guided with docents and staff. So when you come out onto the Forest Canopy Walk, not only is it an amazing experience to be 50 plus feet off the forest floor, but it's also something that you will have education throughout the whole walk and walk away with more knowledge than what you came in with.